And here's the latest edition of my blog entries dated July 17, 2010. It is entitled, Make It Rain, Sesame Street Style. Back in 2004, given my awkward height and willing heart, God provided me the opportunity to be an assistant coach for a local high school basketball team in the community where I grew up. That year, I was able to delay my progress in my studies at university by only taking 2 courses in my second semester. Midway through the season, the coach proposed to me an opportunity to be part of a mission/basketball team that would head to Bolivia in the spring following the end of our season. For those Asians out there, you might be able to sense the seemingly enormity of the decision that I had to make in regards to delaying my education and the cultural consequences that it would imply. It was another one of those baby steps that I was faced with in my journey of faith thus far. I made the decision to take the culturally wrong route that spring and spent 2 weeks in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. Unknowingly, it was a decision that has impacted my life in a way I couldn't have imagined. For it was there, in Bolivia, amongst the people in the schools, villages, and camps where I not only witnessed, but experienced a sense of community and interdependence that was unknown to me. I saw a picture of the body of Christ in the people there, as they so evidently were aware of the impact of their decisions had on the people around them. It was even in the little things, one in particular that I vividly remember. It was one Sunday. It was a Sunday morning after service at one of the churches our team had visited. The ladies in charge of refreshments, they coordinated it, were preparing a cooler of lemonade. I went over to see if I could help and witness the discussion among them. They were debating on whether to use the 2 extra lemons in the lemonade to make it tastier for us, their guests. You see, the debate was that if they did use the 2 extra lemons, in gracious hospitality for us, the members of the second service would be left with watered-down lemonade because 2 of the remaining 7 lemons were sacrificed for our benefit. But without hesitation, they made the sacrificial decision for us, their guests, with the common understanding that the congregation would be more than understanding. It was experiences like that, on that trip, which has left such an impact on me. I had come from a community that had so much in abundance, a community and culture that strove so much for independence over interdependence. To see and experience a culture where resources were limited and how people thought and lived in a way in which they considered their neighbor in such a manner, truly blew me away. It was through that trip the Lord placed in my heart that He would bring me back here to South America. Yes, to serve and make a difference, but even more so, to come down here, or to go back at that time, with a humble heart and learn from the people here. I believe given the need for interdependence here, the church in an area of minimal resources understands the meaning of community and the body of Christ in a way we in North America can and may be so unaware of. And as foreign as it may be, I believe it is a concept that we can learn from, and if embraced, we will be able to more closely experience community in the way that I believe Jesus Christ is intended to be. That being said, the learning process is definitely in full swing. And I always pictured that most of this process, or much of it, would take place in the church, in the schools, in the university, and the communities that surround them respectively. Don't get me wrong, I'm learning tons in and at those places. But I also have been pleasantly surprised to learn this lesson in the most real way, right on my front porch. Like I said, God knows I am a slow learner. And time again, it seems like He's always tailoring my lessons in a way that I will best learn from them. When making the decision to live in the less fortunate neighborhood, one that's more central versus the new home, an upper class area that was near the beach, little did I know what was in store for me. Just like the child I am, God has placed me on my very own Spanish/Colombian Sesame Street. During the renovation process, while I was living with the Howards, every morning I'd arrive at 7 a.m. at the corner of my street via motor taxi. There was a homeless elderly man who survived by cleaning the streets and receiving charity from helping whoever and wherever he can. He would greet me with a huge smile each morning, and day by day I'd be introduced and meet more and more of my future neighbors. Renovating and working up to 12 to 14 hours a day didn't provide much time for me to chat or hang out with my neighbors. But before I knew it, more than 25 kids actually, under the age of 12, knew that the big Chino lived on the second floor of the third house in the middle of the block. The elderly man, he went from my corner, he went from smiling and greeting me